How effective is your parenting tools? Let's explore 3. I made this 5-page guide of 12 common ineffective parenting tools. So let's take from the guide 3 of them, talk about them, define them, see examples of them, and then start to reflect on what the impact of those tools are. Before we start, I made the same guide before effective tools too. All right, let's just use the top 3. Ineffective parenting tool number 1, blaming and accusing. Blaming and accusing are actions attributing responsibility or fault to someone for a perceived wrongdoing or negative outcome. Blaming involves holding someone accountable for an event or situation, while accusing specifically involves charging someone with wrongdoing or fault. Both actions often carry a negative connotation and can contribute to conflict in interpersonal relationships, which the parent-child relationship is. So let's hear how some examples sound. But for this to really work, I need you to pretend to be the child, hearing those messages from me, pretending to be your caregiver. I want you to think about, what are you thinking, feeling, and deciding? Oh my gosh, you always are putting your sticky fingers all over my car windows and making them so dirty. Why do you always do that? How many times do I have to tell you to use your napkin? You're getting sauce all over your clothes. You get stains when you do this. The trouble with you is that you never listen until I yell. If you were just to listen to me, I wouldn't have to yell. Hey, stop that. Why are you always so mean, picking on your brother like that? How'd it go? How'd it land? As the child hearing that, what came up for you? Ready for ineffective parenting tool number 2? Name calling. Name calling is the act of using offensive or derogatory labels or terms to describe or address someone, often with the intention of belittling, insulting, or demeaning them. Again, you're the child, I'm the caregiver. I want you to tap into what it's like to be on the receiving end of these messages. Here, just give it to me. You know how slow you are. I can just do it a lot faster. Just give it to me. Whoa, look at how you're eating. You're getting a mess everywhere. It's kind of disgusting. And it's getting everywhere. Also, do you have to use all that ketchup? It's just like you're gonna turn into a ketchup monster. Oh, look, it's my little ragamuffin. You just look like so slobbish when you dress like that. How'd that one land? If you were the child on the receiving end of that, how would you feel? Let's talk through ineffective parenting tool number 3, threats. Threats involve expressing intent to harm, intimidate, or cause negative consequences to someone or something, typically to compel a certain behavior or action. There are overt threats, like I'm gonna spank you if you don't get over here right now. But there's also more invasive, subtle threats, like if you don't come over here right now, I'm gonna leave without you. So let's hear some of them again. Again, you're the child, I'm the caregiver. You're checking in with what it's like to be on the receiving end of these. If you touch that remote again and turn the TV back on, you will lose TV time tomorrow. If you're not dressed in 5 minutes, I'm leaving without you and you can just stay here by yourself. I hope you know how to use the microwave for dinner. I am going to call your father and tell him that you keep hitting your brother if you don't stop. I mean, even just saying that, there's a lot of layers there that we could unpack, but not in this video. So let's pause right here and check in. What was it like being on the receiving end of those messages? When I'm on the receiving end of blaming or accusing, I start to feel defensive. I start to feel like people are taking sides and people are not seeing me or hearing me or understanding my point of view. And so I just naturally start to get more fight in me. For me, being on the receiving end of name calling makes me feel boxed in and shrunk and reduced to whatever someone wants to categorize me as. And I think it's important to note that I didn't add this in this guide, but when we're using name calling and labeling in positive ways, it can also have a negative impact. So for example, if you call your child's like the little reader, like, wow, they're such a great reader, they're just like my little reader, and then they get into a slump or they stop, picking up as many books, that starts to challenge that label and narrative and identity. and it can be very conflicting and confusing. And finally, my experience with threats is that I will always challenge them. I'll be like, yeah, I'll call your bluff. I will push right up to the limit and then back down, or I will just simply become apathetic to the thing. This is especially important to note, like when we're making threats of joy, or like to take something away that is bringing that child joy. What the child will end up doing is starting to hide and protect and become disconnected from that thing so that it can be protected. Work of positive parenting, this is an exercise that we do. We start to become self-reflective in the methods, tools, strategies, habits, approaches that we're using in given situations with children to see, hey, how I'm showing up, is that going to have a negative impact or is it going to have a positive impact? Ineffective strategies will often, almost always, have a negative impact for the child. The child is going to experience some sort of emotional flooding, some sort of nervous system response, some sort of defense coming up, and it's going to get us further from where we want to go. In contrast, when we use effective parenting tools, that is going to have a positive impact on the child's development, the skill acquisition, the skill building, and it's going to have a positive impact on their nervous system regulation. That's what positive parenting is named. Positive parenting. It's positive parenting because we're looking at the impact on the child. If you want this guide for yourself, you can go to bekindcoaching.com/ineffective, just that word, and get your own copy. You'll also be registered for a free upcoming Positive Parenting Challenge that I'm hosting in January. I know it's a bit early. January 21st through 27th. It's called the Get Clear Challenge, and it's a way to introduce you to my unique method of positive parenting called the C.L.E.A.R method. So you can go and register for free by going to bekindcoaching.com/ineffective, get that guide, start to work through it. And if you want to upgrade for $10, you can get the effective strategies, and you can also register for one of my fan favorite classes called Tantrums and Meltdowns, which teaches you how to positively show up in those stressful moments of tantrums and meltdowns with your children. So go to bekindcoaching.com/ineffective and start the work today.